Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where true crime, hauntings, and unsolved cases collide. We uplift the victims and drag the villains through the mud. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
We are the Pandemonium.
I see things.
You see things?
I see things.
Oh my
Contacts.
God. Good morning. I need
Good
glasses.
morning.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We've already told each other Happy New Year because, we've been talking every day for years.
Yeah.
I got a new shirt. Hold on. Oh, also,
I'm wearing an old shirt. It's Hocking Hills.
it's a bluey shirt to my bluey cup. We have quite a few things to go on. So as you can see, it's just me and Rachel here. We're just going to get into it. Might as well.
Go ahead and explain the background to our listeners.
So we've changed our theme, which is fine. You're allowed to change your theme. You're allowed to change your logo. I didn't like how things were going last season, and neither did Rachel. We are very much trying to be a voice for the victims. That is how I started the podcast. That is what you loved about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how things were going. As you
I
can
still
see,
love the hauntings and all that stuff, but
no, we're still going to do that.
we
but
just kept going off and not doing justice to the cases.
I didn't like it.
I didn't either.
So as you can see, Meg and M are not here. They're still going to be guests, but they are not going to be hosts. They have a lot going on in their lives. I don't have a job still, but we do have a new announcement. If I can just.
There's a reason why you don't have a job.
There's a reason why I don't have a job. We are expecting. So let me just. We had a miscarriage late last year. Not 2025, 2020, 2024. And we were told we couldn't get pregnant again. And we were like, I was like, we're just going to keep trying. And if it happens one more time, I'm done. Well, I don't know what witchcraft was done.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Listen, okay, it took a lot of energy and a lot of time to manifest this.
But we're pretty happy with how things are going. And as you can see, the layout for mine has changed because we had to move his office into my office.
The nursery.
Yeah, it's great. I'll put some pictures up there once we finish decorating. But we're assembling
pictures.
We're assembling the crib this weekend, and
yes.
I got a Cricut. Very excited for that. I'm putting all of my board games in actual boxes so they all fit on one shelf instead of 4.
And not like haphazardly empty spaces.
We do have some updates as far as listeners and followers. We have still 70 followers on our Facebook page. We have on our Instagram. Hold on, I just had it. Fair checkle. I had everything up, and then I was like, I'm just gonna. Yeah. Okay, so we have 71 followers on our Facebook page. We have 111 in our Facebook group. We have 115 followers on our Instagram.
Wait.
We have 108 Spotify followers.
Well, technically, 109.
Technically.
Because Dr. Sister is pregnant as well.
It's true. We're expecting 2 baby possums this year.
I'm so excited. I'm going to be feral auntie times 2.
I'm excited because I'm going to be a feral auntie again as well. So I'm just
so much excitement.
We made her. This is coming out before the baby shower.
Yes.
I can't say what we made her. That's okay. That's all right. But I did make her something fabulous.
Yes.
And I made a couple of things to go with it. And the box is
It turned out so great.
It did. I was so happy. But
It turned out a little bit larger than we were planning, but
yeah, but I
that's
mean,
okay. It grows with the baby.
I wanted the quilt to be able to go with the baby, because normally what I do what I normally do is I make a quilt that grows with them. So that way, when they get a little bit older, they have some sort of, not like the blankies, the very small ones that are sort of
Right.
ratty-tatty. These ones last a long time because I don't use cotton
Yeah.
thread, I use polyester. But besides the point. We're also
Everything
gonna
else
be
is cotton.
right. We're gonna also be starting a new thing for you guys. We listened and we definitely judged, but we listened.
And all the side eye. All
And
the
all the
side
side
eye.
eye. I'm gonna play the sound for the day.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is what's coming at the end of every month.
This is the last episode of the month. This episode exists for one reason and one reason alone: to remind you that not everything is terrible, not every story ends in horror, and that sometimes, quietly, good things still actually happen in this world. On this podcast, we spend a lot of time sitting in the dark. We talk about loss, injustice, unanswered questions, and trauma. And as much as those stories matter, so do you and your mental health. So consider this your decompression episode, your nervous system reset. This entire episode is dedicated to hope, healing, and the smallest of victories. Welcome to Serotonin Saturdays.
Huh?
I'm so excited.
I mean, come on. Like, we do so many, like, horrible stories that really just kind of gives the ick. And I had a couple of people reach out, Michaela being one of them. She's like, listen, I love the crime. Don't get me wrong. I love the murder, mayhem, madness thing, but can we have some, like, uplifting stuff? And I was like,
Absolutely.
whatever your heart desires, my love.
Ice maker. I was like, what the hell is that noise? Ice maker.
God. So,
It
people, have you taken your meds? I did. I took my med.
I have taken my med.
A parasite. Do you have your hydration station? I have my meal.
I do. I have my breakfast and, well, thankfully my dinner.
Technically, your dinner.
And my hydration station. Speaking of dinner, I will be going to evening shift after spring break.
Yay!
So you won't catch me as soon as I come home from work. You'll be catching me rolling out of bed.
I will. Oh my God, that is so exciting. Since I have known Rachel, she has worked night shift. And it's been funny because every single time I was stranded at the airport, who did I text? Who was awake at 2:00 in the morning?
Me.
You or Dora. So it was between the two
Right.
of you.
Well,
Yeah.
also time change helped a lot, or the time difference helped a lot too.
Now it does. But so today's topic is not going to be crime the whole time. So we're going over what has happened in 2025 that we did not cover. Sort of
lot.
like a yearly true crime recap. So there's quite a bit. Would you like me to start?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're already like 10 minutes into it. So party possums, you should have hydrated. You should have gotten your sustenance ready. You should have taken your meds. If you haven't, shave.
Take them now, quickly.
So the
Unless
first
it's
thing,
not schedule your time.
I know if it's not ready for you to take it, obviously don't take it. The first thing we're going to talk about is JonBenét Ramsey. You know, the case was technically reopened. It's never closed.
Holy shit.
So it's been 30 years since her death, and it's still an open and active investigation. However,
Right.
Boulder, Colorado police really fucked the football in this one. And it's been 10 minutes, so I can actually say that. So it's considered a top priority, but the investigators are interviewing witnesses, re-examining physical evidence, consulting with outside forensic experts because they can now run the trace DNA that was found on the rope, on and around JonBenét, and the other DNA that they found that.
Holy shit.
So,
Yay, technology.
law enforcement stresses they're not ignoring leads or sitting on evidence, but must balance transparency and protecting an active investigation. Everybody knows about the physical DNA evidence that was on her on the rope, everything like that. Everybody knows about that. So, of course, everything couldn't be tested in the 90s because DNA evidence has come a long way.
So far.
Right. And so, improved DNA profiling, touch DNA analysis, so even the smallest, microscopic, and genetic genealogy techniques, because when you sign up for Ancestry DNA, found this out because I got contacted last year. Rachel knows about this. Your DNA is linked to all of those active cases. If it pops, it says, hey, you're a 20% match, you're a 15% match, you're a 10% match, you know somebody who knows somebody.
Yep.
Found
It's in
that
their
out.
fine print terms and conditions of
Terms and
service.
conditions. Let me tell you, that was a weird ass phone call to get at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, partial genetic profiles have been identified through comparisons, and validations are ongoing. So, we should find some information by the end of 2026 at least.
Oh, that would be so nice.
So, they're consulting, the Boulder PD is consulting with federal partners and independent DNA experts and analysis. And
Mm.
experts. So, John Ramsey,
Another word.
JonBenét's father, has been outspoken in pushing for more aggressive DNA testing and the use of private forensic labs Him and his wife always had an argument about this, which I love this about her father, that he was very adamant and aggressive on find her killer. She was just standing in the back, upset. I understand grief happens in certain ways, but that's your daughter. So, of course, he remains hopeful that genetic genealogy could help find the killer. However, there was a new documentary that was published in 2024 that reignited national attention. I saw it. Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh my God. So good. It's on Netflix. Watch it.
Okay.
Because you see things that we missed the first time around. And I was just sitting there going, where's my popcorn? Josh ate it all. That's the point. So
The trees are because whiplash in January because Mother Nature can't decide on a season.
not only that, everything makes me want to vomit. So if you go to last season, from September to the end of the season, you can see me spitting a lot because I
That's
almost
why.
every episode because I was pregnant. I still am. But besides the point,
You were also like, for the first
2 months.
2 months of that, you were in hard denial.
I didn't pop positive on any test until 3 months. Which was kind of funny because they were like, "Oh, you're in the danger stages." And I was like,
My whole
I'm
pregnancy is a danger stage, but
right.
okay.
Danger zone. Stop sign. Anyways, I'll discuss that later. That's a fun thing me and my husband do. So this documentary was JonBenét about her family and the history and the stuff with her brother. The renewed, don't look at me like that. You have to watch it. I am not giving out context clues.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, darling. So this generated a flow of new tips because they still have a dedicated JonBenét line in Boulder, Colorado. So it pressured also authorities to clear up updates and be like really honest with the public. So the investigators say that the renewed attention could be helpful if it produced credible leads. And I'm sitting here going, you didn't listen the first time around. Why are you going to listen to the second? Members of the Ramsey family, huh?
Different detectives?
Of course, there's different detectives. The original detective retired, but don't ask me how I know. Members of the family have criticized the original investigation, particularly early crime scene handling, while cautiously praising new efforts. I have to be hands off here because they're the ones who invited their friends and family over to the house. Their house was still a crime scene. I have to say it's on both parties' faults at that point. That's why it got contaminated. But besides the point, we have other cases that have breakthroughs in 2025. One of them being another documentary that was discussed and published. That's the word. Baby's taking my brain cells. Published this last year in 2025, the Austin yogurt shop murders. Did you hear about this?
I don't think so.
34 years ago, 4 teenage girls were murdered. And they finally identified a killer after 34 years with DNA testing.
Holy shit.
So it was linked to the crime to Robert Eugene Rashers, a serial offender who died in 1999. So there was no technical justice. However, I think justice was still served because they finally found the killer. This breakthrough fully exonerated the teens who were wrongfully convicted decades earlier. They were still behind bars when this DNA test went through. And it corrected one of Texas's notorious miscarriages of judgment. So the most powerful example of modern forensics undoing historical failures, which I do have to say, again, DNA has come a long way.
That it really has. And I'm so glad it has because it's giving answers to all these families.
It really is. And yes, I did mute myself and I did just go. So another cold case was in Albany, New York. And it was several, not just one, not just two, but 3 cold cases. One of a 2005 murder, one of a 2005 murder of a 14-year-old girl, one of a 1997 infant schmomicide, and one of a 1964 murder identified through DNA exhumed remains. So it was an interagency collaboration, and software like STR-Mix broke through the degraded DNA, and after persistence for decades, they finally found all of their murderers. And I have to say the next one was more shocking.
Go on.
Longest running cold case conviction was one of the ones that I told you I wanted to cover, which was a case from 1967 that went cold, was finally solved and convicted a 92-year-old man in 2025 for rape and murder. The clothing was preserved for 60 years and produced a DNA match.
Thank God that it was preserved. But also, fucking 92. He ain't going nowhere.
92.
You're lucky he lasted that long. Shit.
I know. Now, we're getting to one of the things that your sister has requested us cover. The ongoing controversial investigation started since 2017 that nobody knows about is the Houston Bayou deaths.
Of course she would request that. Like,
Well, early 2025, like dozens of bodies were found in the Houston area. And it was in the aqueducts and sort of like the rain reservoir areas. Online speculation quickly spiraled into claims of I saw this and I think I want to use it for this year, a cornflake unaliver. Cereal. Healer.
I was like, what?
A cornflake unaliver. Or a Pops Popper. But my dad's nickname is Pop, so I can't really use that one.
I like cornflake better.
Cornflake unaliver. So authorities strongly disagree that there's any such thing as a cornflake unaliver in Houston. Guys, we know.
I call bullshit.
I call a bullshit. A bullshit. They're saying that many of these quote unquote bodies are linked to homelessness, substance abuse, and get this, accidental drowning in dangerous waterways. Rachel, how high is the water in the rain reservoir areas? Just a random guess.
I mean, technically it only takes an inch to drown, so I mean...
Not much.
Yeah.
But you have to think in those rain reservoir areas because they're trying to have the active environment, I swear to God, this baby's going to come out knowing calculus. I can't think of a word. Shut up.
It'll come to you. It's fine.
It's like a
storm runoff?
No, it's a filter. It's like an environmental filter where they use like active plants and vegetation and stuff to make a environmental filter in the water. With all of that stuff, what?
I can't remember what it's called either now.
I know. So with all of that stuff in the water, it's going to be harder because you can't push it into the water. It's already growing up. So How? That's how I want to know. So, this case, of course, has become a case study in social media panic versus investigative reality. And I'm just sitting here going, really? Do you guys hear yourselves?
They do, but I think it just kind of goes in one ear out the other.
Are you scrolling? Because I can hear the mouse. I caught you, you dirty minx! Stop having a document!
But I'm
She
multitasking.
lies. She lies. So of course there was also a cornflake unaliver in Argentina by the name of Mateas Parrado. If you guys want to look at the links, you can, but they're all in Espanol. So get out your translators because I'm not going to translate for you. So, in August of 2025, Mateas was arrested after human remains were discovered inside his home. Authorities believe he may be responsible for multiple murders targeting homeless men. DNA investigation is currently ongoing because they can't identify the remains from anything else.
I absolutely hate it.
Thank you. Meanwhile, the cornflake unaliver updates for 2025. Glenn Edward Rogers was finally unalived. He was known as the cross-country killer. And he was executed in the U.S. in 2025. He was convicted of 2 murders and suspected of many more in the 90s. But unfortunately, he never identified how many victims he actually had. He alluded to dozens, but they don't actually know. So, of course, he's on my list for later this year. Then we have the Ventura Strangler case. So the DNA linked Warren Luther Alexander to murders committed in the 1977-1978 years. I hate pollen season. So he was arrested in 2024, but the trial delays continued into 2025. So, of course, trial is still ongoing. But then there was a surge of true crime with TV shows such as The Hunting Party, a new movie called The Hunt, people really wanting Mindhunter to come back, which they finally have discussed doing a second season. After 3 years, but this has revived cold cases and actually reopened a lot of cold case investigations, introduced unreported victims, and generated new public interest and tips. I unfortunately have seen all of the documentaries I'm about to list, so we're going to be rating them by knives. I like this.
I knew you would.
So we're going to be using the knife scale this season to prep you for what type of episode we're having. Instead of just doing the trigger warning, we're going to give you the knife scale. So one knife is mildly concerning. It's got a low threat level. There's mostly circumstantial. It's historical evidence. No immediate danger. This person's no longer alive, and it's more strange than scary. So like early disappearances, unclear accidents, low stake mysteries, UFOs, hauntings, one knife. Right? Two knives, something is off. There's red flags, suspicious behavior or inconsistencies, possible negligence and cover up, and limited violence, which is questionable police work, shady timelines, and sketchy alibis. 3 knives, actively disturbing, aka Rachel's favorite phrase, pick me up, mom, I want to go home. Clear criminal elements, violence or credible threat, strong evidence of wrongdoing, and investigative failures or corruption, which is for confirmed schmomicides. serious assaults, and dangerous suspects still at large. 4 knives, extremely dangerous. My favorite quote, I need a stuffy. Pattern violence, serial behavior, high body count or escalated crimes, victims or vulnerable populations, strong emotional or psychological horror. Rachel's quote, lock your windows, lock your doors. Used for cornflake unalivers, repeat offenders, and cases with overwhelming brutality. Last but not least, we have 5 knives. Pure nightmare fuel, aka Rachel isn't going to sleep tonight and Kat needs to watch Disney or Bluey. Maximum sheer horror, extreme cruelty, sadism, and prolonged violence, multiple victims over time, systematic failures allowed to continue, worst of the worst cases, historical atrocities, cases that permanently changed laws or policing. This should have never happened vibe. I think that is a good scale.
Well, yes, definitely.
That being said, I've already picked a few cases that involve 3 or 4 knives. Rachel's picked 2 cases that involve 5. So, there we are.
Well, my first case is it's 5 plus 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 plus.
Now the documentaries. You've seen a few of these. First one you didn't see. I rate it 3 knives out of 5. Butchers of LA. Good watch. It's on AMC Plus, Prime, and the Roku channel. I watched it on Roku. Because it's free on Roku. It's a deep dive into multiple California serial killers. Sorry. It's a deep dive into multiple California cornflake unalivers, as 131 bodies are discovered across 1970s LA and Central Valley. Panic spreads, police chase, a lone subject, only to discover not 1, not 2, but 3 cornflake unalivers. And this was during the summer of the 70s, known as the Summer of Sam. The next one is My Father, the BTK Killer, which I just finished the other day. Oh my God. 3 knives. It's on Netflix. It's told by Carrie Rawson, which I have to give it to her. She is a phenomenal person for who her father was. She's completely stepped aside and made her own life. And I'm very, very happy for that. She shares her experience about her father's crimes and about growing up with her father and how it was finding out about everything going on in the case and everything. Meanwhile, Meg has already told me she wants to do this case. The documentary is called Gone Girls, the Long Island Serial Killer of 2025.
I think I have that on my list.
So good. Such a good documentary. 4 nights. You and Meg can battle it out.
I will let her handle that one.
So it's on Netflix and it's examining the hunt for the Long Island examining the hunt for the Long Island cornflake unaliver through the perspective of his victims and their loved ones and the police. There are actual police reportings that you can hear from like 2 victims. And I was like, oh my God. And he came home and scared the absolute shit out of me. And I was like, you butthead. It was bad. There's also this one, which creeped the crap out of me because it's about modern day slavery. Abandoned, the woman in the decaying house. 4 knives. 4. It's on Prime. It's a true crime documentary investigating the real life story of Margarita Bonetti, a woman in Sao Paulo, Brazil, who was accused, along with her ex-husband, of holding a Brazilian domestic worker, Hilda Rosa dos Santos, in conditions amounted to modern-day slavery. 20 years in her home in Maryland. Maryland!
Usually when you think of modern day slavery, you think of like third world countries or even second world countries, not always in the US, but unfortunately, it happens a lot more in the US than people think, and it's bad.
I mean, it's different if it's like quink. We're not going to yuck people's yum. That's different.
I don't consider that modern day slavery. That's just somebody's fetish. But for for me, modern day slavery is like essentially you have their identification. They have no way to contact. They have no way of escaping. Basically, you've been kidnapped and you're being forced to work.
Which is
Yeah, we have to do yearly human trafficking training at work every year.
that's essentially what, human trafficking is. They hold on to their passports, their identifications, and
Um, so the bigger cities, so like Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans, they're huge ports because they get brought in, and then as soon as they get landed in their host family, um, their passports, identifications, Social Security cards get yanked away from them, and they're held over their head like a carrot on a stick, essentially, and
well,
it's horrible.
I mean,
Let's not get me started on this.
right. That's a whole thing for you. I mean, we've seen an uptick here in human trafficking, especially with pregnant women. And so I'm not allowed to leave the house without Josh, or if I'm just going down the street to the store and right back, because I know all of the store employees at this one store. I'm not going to say it, but
And I'm usually on the phone with you.
exactly. So I don't leave the house unless I am in contact with somebody or I am with my husband, because if
Right.
they see me out going to buy diapers or formula or anything like that, because I'm stockpiling right now. And oh my God, I got to say, Christy making that little Winnie the Pooh sign for me. I'm so
I
excited.
love it.
Anyways, besides the point. So they have it in, I had to do training when I was living in California because of San Francisco. Um, oh God, Seattle, Washington, Sonoma County, the migrant workers. There was a lot of human trafficking out there. And so, like, we had to be prepared. But, anyways, that's a topic we can discuss a different day. Not today, because we're going to get angry. So, we're going to get angry at a different person. The next one is called A Deadly American Marriage. I rate it 3 out of 5. It's on Netflix and it's murder or self defense. You decide. It's told from both sides. This documentary explores the killing of Jason Corbett during a dispute with his wife and her father.
Interesting.
It is a very interesting documentary, and I have to say, I'm on the fence. It doesn't happen with me often.
Right. I'm intrigued.
It's a good watch. I do have to say it is a good watch. Not something you should fall asleep to, but a good watch. Next, I personally love the way that this anthology series is going on Netflix. Monster. If you haven't seen the previous ones, so good. This is the Ed Gein story. I rate it 5 out of 5 knives. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because we covered Mr. Ed Gein last year. This year,
I hated every second of that too.
hated it. This year, it was focusing on the Wisconsin cornflake unaliver, Ed Gein, played by Charlie Hunnam, which we have to say, we love Charlie Hunnam. Delicious in all of his roles. We will always find our partners more attractive, but let me tell you,
We enjoy some good eye candy though.
that's all he's good for right now. So his profound impact on pop culture horror, featuring media commentary or meta commentary exploring his abusive upbringing with his mother, and his inspiration for characters like Norman Bates and Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it goes into the whole detail. I had to put it on my DNF list. Something outside.
Fluffy's doing something random. I hear her like moving something, so I was just like, "What?" She's scooching a box around.
Sounds like something she does. We have a few more left. I did 2 whole pages. So save these for later, guys. Next is Fred and Rose West, a British horror story. 5 out of 5 knives. We already covered them.
I hated that topic as well.
I hated it. I vomited researching that topic, and I was already pregnant. So I said it was graphic. I'd rather not visit this case, but I did watch it halfway, made it to the DNF list, and I still made some faces I make on the same podcast. If you're interested, this is a series using police tapes exploring a horrific crimes of the West. Watch this case from last season. Next is American Murder, Gabby Petito, which is on Netflix, 4 out of 5 knives. I remember when I first followed her when she made her YouTube. Way back in the day. I cried. That's all I'm going to say. Next is Burden of Guilt, Haunted by Lies on Paramount Plus. 3 out of 5 knives. It's a true crime docuseries based on a popular podcast by Tracy Raquel Burns' quest to uncover the truth about her baby brother Matthew's death when she was 2. A mystery that involved her being blamed for his death and led to shocking family secrets, abuse, and a schmamicide investigation.
Holy shit.
She was 2. She was a child.
Right?
Meanwhile, we have your favorite female serial killer, Eileen, Queen of the Cornflake Unalivers. It's on Netflix, 3 out of 5 knives. A documentary that revisits the life and crimes of Eileen Wuornos. This is on my list to cover for next season because Holly has requested it. You know she doesn't request a lot.
This is true.
Death in Apartment 603. What happened to Ellen Greenberg? 5 out of 5 knives. I had to watch it in 3 cuts.
Holy shit.
It's on Hulu and ABC. In 2025, ABC News Studios and Hulu documentary series investigated the 2011 death of 27-year-old teacher Ellen Greenberg. She was found with over 20 stab wounds, one being next to her spinal column, one being on the back of her head, and one being on the top of her head, stating it was self-inflicted and a sewer slide.
Is that self-inflicted?
My questions exactly, which is why we're going to be covering her case. So, authorities ruled it a sewer slide, and the decision her family still disputes to this day because her fiance and his family and lawyers took her phone, tablet, and iPad.
But I can't get over the fact they said it was self-inflicted. Like, it's not like she affixed the knife to something and then ran herself into it multiple times.
He ran
Not
into
how this
my
works.
knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. It's not Chicago. Next, we have one of the cases that has been controversial all over the news the last 3 years. Amy Bradley is missing. It's on Netflix, 5 out of 5 knives. It's a 3-part true crime docuseries that explains the mystery of 23-year-old Amy Bradley, who vanished from a Caribbean cruise ship in 1998. You heard about this.
I do, but I was a child.
I was not. I was one of those rambunctious kids running around on a cruise ship alone while my parents were yucking it up.
Yeah, I mean, because I figured at that point, where are you going to go? You're on a giant boat.
See,
Off the boat.
It's a good thing. Stay fat, eat tamales. You're harder to kidnap. Anyways, that's just my...
Also get tattoos. It makes your meat taste nasty.
Yes, and makes you more easily identifiable. Next, we have the yogurt shop murders. 5 out of 5 Knives on HBO. It's next on my to watch list because I do want to cover it this season. I want to do it some justice. It explores the murder and unaliving of 4 teenage girls at the I Can't Believe It's Yogurt Shop, December 6th of 91 in Austin, Texas. It's bad. Then we have another case that you are absolutely horrified about. Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Frankie, 5 out of 5 Knives. It's a Hulu documentary about Ruby Frankie, the former YouTube mom vlogger for 8 passengers, who was sentenced to prison for child abuse and child endangerment. Yeah. Rachel hates that case, which is why I want to cover it. Because she's not going to do it.
Because you like punishing me. That's why.
With love. Next, we have One Night in Idaho, 4 out of 5 Knives. It's on Prime Video. It's about the 4 university students who were brutally unalived in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. And you remember the sister testifying at the court hearing saying, "You're a weak-willed, dickless wonder," or something like that, you know? This I haven't watched, but I do want to because I think you watched it. Unknown Number, the high school catfish.
No, I have not watched it. I think Savia maybe did.
I think she did. So it's 5 out of 5 Knives because I did send it to a friend who watched it for me because that's a lot. It's about a teen girl and her boyfriend who faced harassment from an unknown caller. And last but not least, we have my least favorite documentary out of all of these, including Fred and Rose West. It's based out of Florida. It's called The Perfect Neighbor, 5 out of 5 Knives on Netflix. A minor neighborhood dispute in Florida escalates into deadly violence where a woman unalives her neighbor based on Florida's stand your ground laws due to noise ordinance. That's why she was unalived, because she felt threatened.
I have a love-hate relationship with that ordinance and with that law.
Agreed. Same. So we only have a few more things left, and then we will discuss. So major true crime trends of 2025 were DNA and genealogy transforming investigations, police forces actually using 23andMe, Ancestry.com, TrueDNA.com, all of those sites to help close active investigations and John Doe cases. Public speculation spreading faster than facts, which is true. It's been going on since forever. Wrongful convictions being overturned and families remaining the loudest advocates, which I've already done one interview with a family, which we'll discuss at the end of the month. Another interview, which we'll discuss at next month. But there are some unresolved cases still dominating forums across all of the internet. One of them is the Oakland County child killer. It was named to a perpetrator responsible for the cornflake unalivings of at least 4 children in Oakland County, Michigan between 76 and 77. Mr. Cruel in Australia. This is a moniker for an unidentified Australian serial child rapist who attacked 3 girls in northern and eastern suburbs of Melbourne in the late 80s and 90s. He is also the prime suspect in the 91 abduction and murder of a 4th girl named Carmaine Chan. I swear to God. The only thing this brisket likes is these shakes. And this brisket is not having it today.
Damn it, Brisket. You want food, you gotta let your mama keep it down.
I'm dying. So the Delphi murders, which was about the unaliving of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, known as the Delphi murders, which occurred in February 13th of 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. Their bodies, they were discovered near Monon High Bridge Trail, which is part of the Delphi historic trails. They're quite beautiful. But that's where the girls disappeared. They went over there, couldn't find them, went back, bodies. Slightly suspicious. Last but not least, Bear Brook and the Terry Rasmussen fallout. It's primarily centered on September of 2025, the identification of the final unknown victim as Ray Rasmussen, Terry Rasmussen's biological daughter. The identification made it possible through advanced genetic genealogy provides closure for the Allenstown 4 victims, while renewing focus on the potential unalivings of the victims' mothers, Pepper Reed and Denise Bowden, who remain missing and presumed dead. These are all unresolved cases that are still being discussed. Of course, Jane and John Doe identification still pending DNA, but we talked about earlier in this episode about how there's a few changes. Meg and M are guesting, only popping in for special episodes like the holiday episodes or one that they request. But we're also working on finally bringing merch. So if you guys want to request stickers for your car or t-shirts, I will gladly make them and send them out. But we're figuring out on how to do that.
Still in the working process.
We're not going to use Etsy because some of that, no. I looked into getting an Etsy, but no.
I mean, if we maybe had more people listening and had a lot of interest in it, maybe, but it's a lot, guys.
It costs more money to keep an Etsy if nobody's ordering than to have it when people are actually ordering. But
Exactly.
we're still going to have the same heart, same chaos, same commitment to telling stories with care and with respect. But the research for this year is already at 4 knives. So
sit back and enjoy.
I was going to say, buckle up, buttercups. Jesus Christ. But that's the 2020 recap, 2025 recap for crime. And
I was like, 2020. Wait, we'd lose 5 years already?
Yes, I'm 5 years less. I'm younger. But that's it. Yay!
That's the plan.
I'm excited for this new season. I like our new layout. I like our new background. It matches our aesthetic.
It really does.
Pink and green. I made the logo. I made our little characters. I made the logo.
I put in input.
She did. This season I'm really excited for. We've already planned out most of the episodes because we have to be prepared for when brisket pops. Because I won't be able to do shit.
This is very true. You're going to be too busy taking care of a brisket on the outside and not the inside.
Right. But that's the 2025 recap. Is there anything that you want to shine on that I didn't cover?
Not that I can think of. I think pretty much you covered everything.
You'll also notice at the end of our episodes, we are not going to do next time on the Pandemonium Witches because ain't nobody got time for that. That took me more time.
It's a lot of work. Trying to randomly cut and fit it in there. Yeah, no.
You get what you get and you're going to like it. But that is our episode for today, guys. Not really much. Happy first day of February. We're filming this in January.
The weather's going to be just about the same.
Just about the same. Don't forget to blow cinnamon into your house. Or if you have animals, throw cinnamon sticks. Place them above your door frames.
Just make sure you don't hit the animals when you throw them inside.
That has been known to happen. Also, every episode this month is going to be on Fridays as per before, but now we're adding a Serotonin Saturday at the end of the month. So we're going to be doing double episodes, which means it's either going to be myself or Rachel doing 2 episodes back to back. So,
surprise!
Surprise, shorty! I'm exhausted if you haven't.
I can tell.
So that's our show for today. As always, stay feral.
Bite the hand.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, goodbye.
All right.
Well, party possums, that's today's dose of the pandemonium. Thanks for listening and watching the AudiHD chaos. Review, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Tune in next week for more continued madness. And as always, stay feral.